Ooh, okay. Hey guys. So I probably should have tweeted that I was doing this, but I'm doing today kind of a Q&A travel questions kind of deal. So anyone who's got questions about traveling, I'm just going to kind of be, here to answer your questions. I just want to really quickly for those of you who may be finding this after the fact and people who are joining as we come, I just want to explain my history with travel in general and kind of where my knowledge is coming from. So I am actually a travel professional. I do work in the travel industry. I sell to all 7 continents of the world. So yes, that includes Antarctica. And I have, let's think how to phrase this. I also spent an entire year of college studying abroad. I lived in Italy, specifically Bologna, Italy, up in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy. And I just kind of wanted to answer people's questions about traveling or kind of tell you guys about some of my bucket list items. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm missing my normal stand to prop my phone up, so that's why I'm kind of at a scary angle here. But I kind of wanted to show you guys my board of where I would like to be able to go, So I just want to show this. Hopefully this will let me flip. Awesome, it did. So this is kind of my map. It's kind of a vision board of where I want to travel / telling me where I've already been. I'm sorry, this is so shaky. It's my hands trying to hold this steady. So I've got some of the postcards from trips I've been on. I have a Scotland one, Italy. Well, let's actually give city. So I've got Scotland up in the corner. This one up here is from Florence. Then I have Siena, Alghero, Milan, Portocorvo. And then I have down here is Barcelona, Barcelona again, San Marino, Vienna, and then Edinburgh. And all the pins on the board are places I've been and places I want to be and things that are ones that I would like to do before I die. So, anything in orange is somewhere I've been with my family. Anywhere in yellow are places I've been by myself. And then anything in, let me think here, is it blue? Let me see. Blue, I think, is where I would like to go next. Like, things are definitely on my travel list. And then things in pink are kind of like bucket list items. Like, it's so impossible to get to Easter Island. But I've got Easter Island on here, like the Galapagos, like things that aren't in people's normal realm of travel. But for me, with my industry and where I work, is potentially possible. So yeah, it's just kind of a cool little visual board. There's definitely way more places than this. I only had so many pins to use. So I am going to try and start adding some more pins to these lists and kind of ticking off some more countries as we go. As you can see, I've done a lot of Europe. I've done a lot of North America. But I really want to expand my goal, I'm about to sneeze. Okay. The number one thing on my bucket list is all 7 continents. And even down here, you can kind of see my little Antarctica pin. I want to go to Antarctica so badly. You have no idea. I'd love to also tie in the Falkland Islands and South Georgia because penguins. What else is on this board that I want to share with you guys? I figure I'll just share this with you guys until someone shows up. And if not, then you know what? This can be a travel vision board live session of me showing you guys about this. Let me, first of all, show you guys how I kind of created this. I bought a cork board, like message board from Target. And then this map, I will link it down below after the live stream, but you can purchase this. It's actually a sheet of paper that you can get from Paper Source. I'll link them online, and I know where I live in Illinois, there is a Paper Source store in the mall, which is where I got this. It's also where I got my Italy poster up here is also from Paper Source. I have to get some backing to cover it, but that's also from there. But it's just a really easy map. You see it a lot on Pinterest of people like taking pictures with their things. So I kind of want to post a picture of this to my Pinterest. Speaking of which, if you guys don't follow me on Pinterest, I use that way more than any other platform of social media, if you can even call Pinterest social media. But it's fantastic. I love Pinterest and pinning things, and I'm obsessed, and it's a serious problem. So that's from there. I think this is like $4 for the whole picture in general. And then I've just, secured it with some pins along the way, as well as the push pins for the different, postcards. So let's kind of show you guys some of my been to places. I would also like to go to all 50 states before I die. As you can see, I am sorely lacking the western half of the US here. And I mean, they're kind of all over the place. I have push pins all around the world, definitely lots of different places. Some of them are not ones that are immediately high on people's lists, like Egypt is making a huge comeback in the travel industry this year, so that's on my list at some point. But yeah, hello, we've got a person now. Hello, person. But yeah, I've got a lot of Europe. I've done almost, I think, quite a few European countries. I'm kind of missing like the Balkan area and the Baltics. That's kind of the only place I haven't really touched in Europe. But yeah, it's kind of cool to just map everything out like this, and I really wish my hand was less shaky. But I definitely like some big ticket items. Like my sister has always been dying to go to Australia. I want to go to New Zealand. I think it'd be cool for us to go together as like a girls' trip at some point in the future when we can both afford that airfare, because it's like a 2-day flight. But yeah, it's just kind of cool. I like making boards like this, and definitely. So if you guys ever have travel questions, leave them for me in the comments of any of my videos. I'll compile them and in the future do like another Q&A version. I kind of wanted to do this live one. What kind of experience did I have to have in order to get a job as a travel agent? That's actually a really great question. So I didn't go to school for management or hospitality or any of that kind of stuff. I went to school as a theater major. So since it's working as a background in sales, and I worked in retail for 10 years, they were particularly interested in my background in selling people journeys and helping people pick things out like that. So my Bath and Body Works history, my Sephora history, my food industry stuff before that was helpful. I also speak Italian, and my French is still pretty passable, and I've got basic Spanish skills. So they kind of liked that I could speak a couple languages and speak to offices we have around the world. They really just look for a passion for travel in general. Sometimes some travel agencies do want you to have experience. And if you want it, I'd say there are definitely a lot of like continuing education courses, and you just kind of need to have a general knowledge. I thought I had really good geography skills before I started my job. Boy, was I wrong. I'm really good now, but I was only okay beforehand. I've also had a lot of travel in general. It depends kind of on where you want to work in the travel industry. If you're someone who wants to do cruises, you should probably have some experience taking a cruise at least once in your life. I've never been on a cruise in my life. But yeah, it kind of varies from agency to agency and where you're working and what tier level. If you're doing corporate travel, if you're doing families, if you're doing cruises, if you're doing prepackaged tours, if you're custom building things, there's a lot of different factors, and there's a lot of agencies all over the US. And there is like, a travel agency. I don't want to call it a union. That's not really what it is, but it's called the IATA, the International Association of Travel Agents, I think is what it is. And it's like a universally recognized thing. But yeah, I didn't have a lot. It was mostly my theater and my gung-ho. And I'm a very like determined person. And my big thing is I'm great at multitasking. So I'm great at, doing a task, working, and then answering a phone call and having to like stop whatever I was in the middle of doing that, or at the same time doing 5 things at once, because there's a lot of moving parts to creating a journey for people. So I know for me, they were very big on, do you have a passion for travel? Are you interested in sales? Are you more interested in behind the scenes work? And then it kind of sorted you from there depending on where you wanted to work at my agency, which I'm not going to say where I work just because I don't want people to know necessarily where I work. I might in the future, but I also don't know if my job wants me telling people here on YouTube where I work. Let's hope that this doesn't fall. I just hate this angle. After a trip to thank you. Actually, yes, I do. So, I've had people call and thank me after they've done a trip. I had some people that I helped send them to Antarctica over the holidays, and They actually reached out to me and said, "Oh, thank you. It was an amazing trip. We loved it. It was great." A lot of my company, a lot of the clientele that come through are very dedicated to working with travel agents, and they have a strong sense of loyalty, I guess is the best way of phrasing it. They really want to come back to people that they like and that they've worked with. But at the same time, I've had people who their way of saying that they loved a trip is they just call and say, "Hey, so this year we want to do Russia or something." So they call back and do that. But yeah, people do thank me. It's it's slightly awkward in a weird way. I mean, it's great that they loved me, and it's especially great if they want to work with me again. But unless I hear something bad, I like to assume that everybody enjoyed the trip that they went on. But yeah, no, I like it. I like working at my agency. It's a good group of people, a lot of interesting trips, 7 continents, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, I actually just got off work. I work the West Coast hours at work, so I work 11 to 7 Central Standard Time. So I just got off work like an hour ago, and I was stuck at work for half an hour. I was supposed to have started this live stream at 7:30, and that didn't happen according to schedule. But yeah, let me see. I wonder if I can. Oh no, I can't even show you my card because my card's got my agency on it. But yeah, I have some definite loyal people. I also have people who plan. I've got one woman, for example, who's doing 4 trips this year with me, all to Europe, different European trips. So I mean, if people like their travel agent, they do come back and they tell you that they love you. So it's nice, different. Whee! Trying to think what else I can say about travel industry. I mean, it's definitely an interesting field to be in, and it's not where I saw myself ever working. Go away notifications. My mom had actually suggested I do this when I was in college. Confidence in my assertiveness. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm a very assertive person. To a fault sometimes. Drives my sister crazy. But no, I'm very good at exuding confidence when I am not so confident on what I'm saying. That's another key thing for travel. It's kind of a lot of, I don't want to say bullshitting people until you can get the right answer, but there's a lot of song and dance. Like when people call, because I can hang up one phone call and they were talking to me about Australia, and then the next phone call is talking about South Africa or Alaska or Canada. It's like you've got to jump from country to country, and it's kind of hard to store a lot of this information in your head. So confidence is key because you have to at least sound like you know what you're talking about, even if you're brand new on the job. They want you to say yes. And then you can say, you know what I can also do? I can also send you a follow-up email with everything you want to know. And that's how I get a lot of my stuff done is I give them the bare minimum on the phone, make it sound very confident, and then I send them all the crazy details in an email. Atticus, I swear to God, if you jump up here and knock my phone over, I'm gonna hurt you. And let's not eat the Goo-Gone. Huh? Atticus is currently like behind my phone over here, watching me, and dude, Addie. No, please don't, no, don't knock it over, don't knock it over. Oh my God. He is a good kitty. He's just kind of a pain in the butt. And the problem is, when I get home from work, the only thing he wants is to snuggle. Do you want to say hello? I know this is a travel Q&A and it's not really your forte because you don't travel. How did you get his name? How did I get your name? How did I get your name? How did I pick you? Everyone always asks if it's because of To Kill a Mockingbird. Yes and no. I think I've always wanted, my goal someday, and it's still my goal, I want to get a little tuxedo cat and name it Tybalt. I don't know why. I always liked Tybalt and Romeo and Juliet. I'm a big fan of Shakespearean characters, but I couldn't figure out a good Shakespearean character for him. I kind of toyed with some of the lesser known ones, but they just didn't seem right. And at one point I threw out Romeo, and I think it was my mom or my sister, I was eating lunch with them after I'd already adopted Addie and he was actually on his way to get declawed. My mom, my sister, and I were sitting eating lunch and we were trying to come up with cat names. And my mom threw out Vigo at one point, and I said, I need something stoic and strong, you know, like very calm. And he always makes a cameo. He does. He's a very attention-seeking cat and he needs love and attention. And are you falling asleep? I'm gonna go put you on the bed because I can't keep holding you. You're getting too heavy for that. Oof. I think my mom or my sister picked his name. I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah. It definitely wasn't because I loved To Kill a Mockingbird. Great book, great movie, but Gregory Peck, amazing actor. But I think it was just I liked how the name sounded and kind of what it evokes in people as someone who's very family oriented, very put together, which none of this really describes this cat. I should have waited to name him, but not the end of the world. He likes it. He responds to it. Don't you, Addie? He's just gonna like sit behind me now and watch me from the corner. Dude. Are you looking out the window? But no. I get that question a lot actually, where I got Addie's name. A lot of people think I'm calling him Eddie. And I'm like, no, it's Addie, A-T-T-I. He's got a whole range of nicknames to go with it. Addie Caddy. I speak to him in French, actually. I call him Monsieur a lot, and that's why his Instagram is Monsieur Atticus. You can follow him if you want. He hasn't posted in a while because I've been kind of lazy. But, yeah. I'm trying to think what else there is to say about the travel industry and traveling in general. Absolutely. See you next time. Trying to think what else I can tell people about traveling in general now that we've detoured onto my cat. I get a lot of people nowadays, and this is a very, very common travel question that people ask me at work too, is solo traveling, especially as a girl. If certain places are safe to be traveling, things like that. Trying to think good examples for places. Like, I mean, it kind of amazes me when people call saying, I want to go on a trip, but is it safe to be going? And I always tell them, I wouldn't be operating a tour or taking you anywhere where it wasn't safe. I strongly believe that safety is the number one priority when you're traveling. You should always be registered with embassies, consulates, all that. Why does my hair look gray? Embassies, consulates, the whole 9 yards when you're traveling. And, there are certain places you definitely shouldn't be traveling. Iraq and Iran come to mind immediately. Don't be going there. Alone. Never. If you can even get in. North Korea is also on that list. Don't go, even if you see trips that can take you to North Korea. Don't. But places like Morocco and Egypt that have been in the news fairly recently, a lot of people call going, is it really even safe to be going to Egypt? They have bombs. And I go, do you travel to Europe? France had a bomb. France had a shooting. London had a shooting. I mean, anything with a major city is at risk of being dangerous, regardless of where it is in the world. I mean, I'm in Chicago. That's one of the most violent cities in the U.S. I think some places around the world are less violent than that. So it's kind of a hit or miss in terms of safety. It really comes down to what you feel comfortable traveling with. If something is a bucket list item that you've always wanted to do, for example, you really want to go to Rio. Really, really bad. This is me. I really want to go to Rio. One of the other things on my travel bucket list, and maybe I'll do an entire post talking about all the things I'd like to do as a travel bucket list item. Tell me if you guys be interested in that kind of a video because I love my travel bucket list. It's loads of fun and I like planning the fake trips in my head. A lot of people ask me about traveling to Rio and things like that, and is that safe? And I want to go to Rio to go to Carnival. I want to do Mardi Gras, Carnival. I've already done Carnivale in Italy, in Venice, so I want to do the other two so I can get the three major ones out of the way. But Rio is not the safest place for a solo female traveler, just because there is a lot of mugging, street violence. I do have a colleague who actually went over New Year's to Rio, and I said, oh, how was it? Because if you thought it was safe, and she goes, no. She's like, I had locals telling me it was not the best idea. And she said, the minute that locals are telling you you shouldn't be there alone, that's when you know, ooh, okay, yeah, no, I shouldn't be doing it. But I think you can travel really anywhere as long as you're following the guidelines, you're registered with your embassy, you have someone who's checking in and keeping an eye on you. If I'm ever solo traveling, My parents always know where I'm going. Even when I was studying abroad and living in Italy, I had to register with my office when I was leaving the country. But I would always tell my parents, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to Barcelona this weekend. If you need me, please, if you don't hear from me by Tuesday," I gave it like a 2-day buffer or anything. I'm like, "Then call my office and tell them to look into me." So I think in terms of safety travel, make sure you've got a friend or family member who's going to be checking up on you. People keep popping in and out. People can ask questions. Otherwise, I might not let this go any longer than half an hour if I don't get anyone else asking more questions, which is why I'm going to tell you guys now if you're watching this afterwards. I think I definitely want to do a bucket list video, but if you guys have like specific travel questions about places to go or recommendations and things like that, I'm happy to do it. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Google and see if there's a Google list of like, I want to see if there's like a top travel questions for Google. 200, 150. What? Sherry, are you a bot or are you an actual person? How do I... That was weird. Huh. Let me see. What the heck was that? That's weird and different. Okay. Ooh, here we go. Oh, why do I keep getting notifications from YouTube? Go away, I know I'm live streaming. So I've Googled, this is Travel and Leisure's most burning travel questions answered by Google. But, yeah. This is, I guess, someone Googled most frequently asked questions of the year. Here are things travelers wonder about most often according to the search site, along with their answers. Why is the first one on here? Where is Disneyland? Disneyland's in California, if anybody's really wondering. Disney World is Florida, Disneyland is California, and then there's Tokyo Disney and Disney Paris. What airport is ORD? Oh, that's Chicago. A lot of people ask that. I get that a lot. It's because ORD doesn't look like the city of Chicago. It's because it's originally named Orchard, something about an orchard. I don't remember exactly, and that's where it comes from. What is a boutique hotel? Ooh. Okay, boutique hotels. Boutique hotels is actually a great question because I do a lot of work with boutique hotels. I always classify them as smaller hotels, not things like a Four Seasons or a Ritz or a Marriott, nothing like that where it's a big chain. These are more unique separately. I don't want to say like a mom and pop kind of deal, but it is a little bit more unique. They're a little bit more centrally located. They're about the local culture. They're about the flavor of where you're at. It's not just about having the best accommodations. They're usually very nice. They're kind of like a B&B in a weird way, I guess is a good way of phrasing it. But it depends on where you're traveling and everything else. Huh. That's still weird. These are kind of stupid questions. No offense to Travel and Leisure. There's a lot of Google. Oh my God, there's a lot of answers for this question. What are the top 10 travel questions? Oh, this is from 2014. This might be a very outdated list. Let's see. This is from Condé Nast, though. Do you need traveler's insurance? Ooh, this comes down to how much you are spending on a trip and how much you're willing to lose. I think it is better safe than sorry in terms of purchasing travel insurance. I always recommend guests travel with insurance, especially nowadays when flights get canceled and things can happen at the drop of a hat, and you want to make sure you're able to cancel. Or, God forbid, if you're someone who has a medical condition and you want to cancel because of that, insurance is definitely worth looking into. There's a lot of different companies out there that do it, as well as some credit cards, even give you insurance, like the ones where you can earn miles and things like that. So, it's worth looking into. Now, if you're doing like a solo weekend trip to Seattle, that maybe does not need insurance. But, like, okay, I'm going to take a week and go to Cancun on a cruise or something, you might want to look into insurance at that point because it can be a big investment depending on where you're going. Oh, go away. How do you apply for a travel document? I'm guessing by a travel document they mean visas. Visas are dependent on the country you're going to. Countries either have now, you're kind of in one of three boats when it comes to that, or four boats, I suppose. No, nothing needed depending on how long you're planning to stay. And then there's ones where you can stay, but you have to provide, like, when you get there, they say, okay, well, where's your departure flight? How are you leaving? And then they give you your entry stamps. And then there are traditional visas, the ones where you have to send your passport off to a consulate and embassy to get a visa. And then they send it back to you with it already put into your passport. And then there's e-visas, which are becoming more and more popular. They're starting to show up in a lot of the popular tourist destinations: Brazil, India, Australia, Egypt, Kenya. There's a few e-visas now, and all you do is you fill out some forms online, and then in a couple of days, maybe up to a week or two, depending on the time of year, they send you your permission for a visa in an email, and you just print that out or carry it on your phone, whatever it is. E-visas are fantastic. I'm hoping more countries implement them in the future. Best time to travel in Asia. Asia, you want to keep an eye on monsoon season for some countries. You definitely don't want to be traveling during monsoon season. And I would also just keep in mind the temperatures that can vary. Southeast Asia, because it can get humid and hot, the summer is not necessarily the best time to be going, but there's less people. So I know I usually send people to Asia kind of January through, okay, Southeast Asia, we're talking like January through March. And then, like October, September through December. If we're talking about like China or Japan, technically I could say you can go year round. Maybe not necessarily in the winter quite as much because it can get cold. But yeah. What's the best way to fold a dress shirt for travel? Huh. Interesting. Folded dress shirt. I don't carry dress shirts when I travel. I usually do dresses. And my carry-on suitcase has a place where I can like unfold something, hook the hanger for the dress there, and then kind of fold it back up. And that works perfectly well for me. How do you get paid to travel? Ooh. Um, I have a lot of people who ask if the best way to travel is become a flight attendant. I tried to become a flight attendant and I was denied. I'm not tall enough. It's a safety hazard for me to be reaching for the overhead bins. I mean, I can reach them fine and lift my own suitcase, but whatever. I had 3 different airlines tell me that I was 5'2" is not tall enough to be a flight attendant. Most airlines would prefer you be 5'4", 5'5". So, best way to get paid to travel. Honestly, I don't really know if there's an easy way of doing it outside of maybe becoming an actual travel agent. I know I usually go on 1 trip a year through my company. And then I also, because I have an agent discount card, I'm able to, book hotels and things at a discounted rate. So it's not necessarily free, but it's really discounted. So it's kind of nice to do that. There's always like contests, things like that aren't necessarily the most reliable thing. Also, reach out to friends and family. Honestly, the best way to travel for free is you wait and get a flight at a really, really cheap discount. 6 weeks before your trip is probably when they're going to be about the cheapest they can ever be, assuming there's any flights left. And then reaching out to friends and family or booking an Airbnb. Sometimes Airbnb is now cheaper than staying in a hotel, depending on how long you want to be somewhere. So that's something to keep in mind. How to travel alone. I kind of touched on this earlier. Traveling alone, I would do some serious research on the safety. I would look at the State Department's travel advisory site. If you really are super concerned, maybe look into things like cruises or group tours where you can join on. You can do one depending on your age range, whether you're 20 or you're 70. There's plenty of group tours out there you can join too. What are jobs where you can travel? There's a lot of jobs that allow you to travel. Now, there's business travel, like people who go to China every other month because they have a meeting in Hong Kong or something. But travel agents do usually travel a lot, depending on what their specialty is. I'm going to Europe in the spring, and I also want to kind of go up to Canada and explore a little bit more of Canada in the fall if I can, or I'm going to New England, one of the two. But yeah. How do I start a travel blog? Ah. So, travel blogging, I kind of do a little bit. I haven't fully gotten into the swing of posting things for it yet. I'm planning to do more breakdowns on my blog, which is akeojourney.com. And it's, I think you've got to have a passion for travel. You have to have some experience traveling. Now, if you're doing like a wishful thinking, like helping to plan trips, I kind of want to do those too, like suggest an itinerary based on my own research and all the 1,001 trips I've planned for myself in my head. I'm also a big fan of buying like not guidebooks, but like travel books. Bill Bryson has some hilarious books. If you're looking for just a regular book in general to read about traveling places, Bill Bryson's books are freaking hilarious. Notes from a Small Island, pretty darn good. So there's that. How to travel on a budget. This is kind of hard to answer because everyone's budget is different. And I get that question a lot. People tell me, okay, I want to go to Morocco. I want to do this, but I want to do it for $3,000 a person. And I go, okay, you're factoring in an international flight here and hotels. In certain places where people consider it more risky to be traveling, you've got to keep in mind that it might be more worth it to splurge that year, so saving up a little bit more. Now, if you're looking for those things where you can be comfortable in a lower level hotel or hostel, if you're still opening travel in hostels, I would do it. It's amazing. The amount of money I saved when I was living in Europe by traveling hostel to hostel, mind-blowing. Plus, you can get private rooms in a hostel, and they're not that much more expensive. How to travel the world. Ooh, make a plan. Like I said, my big goal is all 7 continents. I've done 2 out of 7. I've got 5 more to go. I really want to take off Asia next year if I can. I'm hoping. I want to take it off by going to Japan. Japan's been on my list for a while now. Australia's also been on my list for a while. I think the big kahuna is going to be getting to go to Antarctica. That's kind of the big ticket item, and you're doing it via cruise. There's kind of no other way to do Antarctica besides a cruise. So that's kind of an interesting way of looking at it. I just want to see if there's anything... Ooh. Wait, let's see. Let's take a look. There's another one of these. We're just going to click one more of these Google questions about traveling answered thing. These are all like, Doing St. Louis, boutique hotel. These are the same questions that were on the other one. Condé Nast, dropping the ball. Ooh, Brownell Travel. Let's see what they have. Let's see some of these questions here. Google's top 10 travel questions answered. How do you get paid to travel? Best way to fold a dress shirt. What the frack? These are all the same damn questions. But yeah, that's interesting. Let's see if there's any other things I can think of here to talk about. But yeah, it's kind of, it's hard to answer questions. I was hoping more people would be here. I should have like broadcasted this better. I think next time I do a live stream, I'm going to try and tweet about it and mention it in upcoming videos before I do it. This is kind of spur of the moment because I'm having issues editing the video I wanted to have up tonight. But yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Like I said, leave me all your travel questions on any of my videos and I will just compile them for the next time I do a live Q&A. So that way I've got plenty of questions to answer and go over while I have people here. Thank you to Jean, who showed up for a little bit and asked some questions about traveling in general and what it was like to become a travel agent. I'm definitely more happy to go into all the detail about what I do on a day-to-day basis and all that kind of stuff if you guys are interested. But I can't go into too much detail because, like I said, I kind of want to keep where I work private. My YouTube and my work life are definitely separate entities. I don't want them coming together like that. And I don't even know if I have permission really to be saying on social media where I work. So I want to avoid getting in trouble at my job. But yeah, that's, oh, I've got a person. Hello, person. I don't know who's there, but thank you for showing up. Right as I was getting ready to wind everything down here. Do you have any travel questions you want to answer before I kind of get ready to... Oh, I've got multiple people. Holy hell. Where did all you people come from and where were you 5 minutes ago? When I was Googling travel questions to answer. Let's see. I wonder if there's any other ones. Let's just take a look while I... Oh, one of those people left. Bye-bye. Ooh, that's a great one. Safaris. Oh, never mind. Maybe not because the page is gone. Let's see. I'm trying to think what the most common questions were. Let's see here. Most frequently asked questions. Google's top 10 most frequently asked travel questions. So a lot of people asking what you can do in Vegas. You can drink and you can gamble. You can also go tour the Grand Canyon. These are all like city specific. Let me see if there's a different one. So here's the thing. I don't book a lot of people for the US. I do a lot of international travel. I don't do a lot of people going to Florida and Albuquerque and that person left. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of questions, so maybe I will, oh shoot, my battery's about to die. That's not good. So yeah, since my battery's about to die, I'm gonna end this and I'm gonna leave you guys the chance to do some more questions. I might start a Twitter thread asking for people to give me questions about traveling in general that I can answer in a future video. And I might try and make some travel specific videos, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to format those on my channel here. I definitely want to do one dedicated to like different cities in Europe that I've been to and I've traveled extensively, like London. I love London. It's great. Stuff like that. So yeah, that's everything. I'm going to leave it there and I will see you guys in the next video, and I'll try and better broadcast the live stream the next time I want to do one. How's that sound? I promise. Hope you guys had a wonderful day, and I will